Hello, and welcome to Independent Talent, the most action-packed indie wrestling podcast on the entire fucking planet. If you're pregnant, have high blood pressure, or experience dizziness, then you've been warned, because your ear holes are about to be crammed full of the #1 local wrestling show in the Mid-South. Now, here's your host, hailing from parts unknown, Lemon Juice McGee.
Welcome back to Independent Talent, the newest and best professional wrestling podcast that covers independent wrestling in the Mid-South-ish area of whatever part of whatever we want to talk about. I'm your host, Lemon Juice McGee, and with me tonight is the fighting man, Matt Pierce.
It burns my pee.
Yeah, that's not even a joke with this intro. Our resident wrestling historian, Hoagie Masters.
I love to eat fucking meat.
He does. This is all truth tonight. It's just truth from the soul. A guy we interviewed recently on a show you might have heard the last couple of days, independent wrestler Corey Statik.
Thanks for having me back. I guess fucking scraping the bottom of the barrel. No one else was available. Well, someone else.
Yeah, someone else here. One half of the Heartbreakers, the Loverboy, Brock Landers.
Fucking ain't right, buddy.
The best half of the Heartbreakers, right?
I am Sean.
Yeah. We've been sitting around, dicking around, if you will, watching wrestling, talking about wrestling, and other horrendous, horrible things, kind of, that we could not record. So now we're recording the show, so you're kind of just going to get what's left. I guess the leftovers of this whole conversation. The laughter's done. The fun is dead.
Yeah.
However, I think that Hoagie has something to say.
Yes. For our listeners who listen to Developmental Talent, you know I laid a challenge to the beast himself, Brock Lesnar, to come find me for a steak eating competition. Mm-hmm. And he has declined.
Surprisingly,
yes.
With his non-busy schedule, Brock Lesnar, former UFC world champion, has not come and found you for meat eating challenge.
So he just wanted to drive his tractor and then go back
Heyman
to
will win, I bet.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably Heyman.
Well, you can get over it. So anyway, since we're having Brock Landers on the show, I thought, what the hell? Let's challenge another Brock. So I'm going to lay out the challenge right here, right now, for a steak eating competition.
Brock Landers versus Hoagie Masters. Who can eat the most meat?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I love to eat meat.
Well, we'll let Brock think about that for a little while.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
We're going to do an interview, give him some time to think about the challenge laid before him and the mounds of meat that surely you guys would cram into your faces. And we'll let him respond later in the show, if he's so inclined to do so.
Okay.
Shooting the shit.
This is the second installment of Shooting the Shit, the segment of the show where we chat with an indie wrestler, manager, promoter, personality, whatever, what have you, whoever we can kind of really get in front of a microphone. Tonight, we're lucky enough to have one half of the Heartbreakers, the Loverboy, Brock Landers.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we've been talking about dick holes.
Yeah.
And other random things. I mean, really, we should just get right into the serious stuff now, I guess. Or not. I don't care.
I thought it was the serious stuff.
Yeah. So sort of things off of the way we started with Corey's interview.
Yes.
What's your first memory of wrestling?
My first memory of wrestling, my dad took me to Rupp Arena, and I'm wanting to say it was an old ICW show, and the main event was the Sheep Herders, better known as the Bushwhackers, versus the Fantastics in a steel cage match. And I just remember them bleeding all over the ring in the cage. And I remember, like, the merch where it was all set up, like, in my, like, 4 or 5 year old mind, it looked like a mile long. And I was, like, just looking at all this, you know, like, they had, like, the old PWIs and, like, the 8x10s and, like, of course, like, just little white trash kids. So, like, all I could buy was, like, $1. And it was a button of Hulk Hogan, and he's got the crimson mask, and I still have that button.
Somebody put a Hulk Hogan's bloody face on a button.
Yeah, and he had like nothing to do with the show. It was like stealing Ryan Dukey's gimmick at his gimmick table. But I'll have to find the button, and I'll put a picture of it up. But like, yeah, that was like, I saw that, and I was just like, I'm hooked.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a lifelong fan, just straight away. So when did you decide that you wanted to be a wrestler?
I never really decided that I wanted to be a wrestler. It just kind of happened. I mean, of course, like everybody else, you're a kid and you got your wrestling figures and you're playing, and then you get your buddies over and you wrestle and you like learn how to put on the figure 4 and like, wow, that hurts, and then you get your cardboard construction paper and you make your belts and you take them to school, and then like you get older and you're like, oh man, like so and so's got a trampoline, let's go wrestle on that trampoline, that's a great idea. And so I mean, just all through school, high school, like even college. I remember like Lindsey Wilson College having like nitro parties, like laying out mattresses, and like me and my buddy Mark Richardson like thinking that we could work matches. And I remember like he super kicked me, and like I sold it, and everybody was like, oh my god, he's dead. And I was like, I didn't feel a thing. It was like the perfect like super kick sell job. But yeah, I've just always been a fan and tried to emulate it. So
who was your big inspiration like in wrestling?
I would say like growing up like as a kid, a lot of NWA stuff. I mean you watch Flair, Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, and I remember even as a kid like really digging like Arn and Tully. Like I mean like Flair was Flair, but it was like Tully and Arn were like the workhorses of the group. Like they were always wrestling on TV and always looked good. So like that's what like hooked me as a kid, is seeing that. And then like the Saturday morning deal with WWF. I mean like you never saw Hulk Hogan like wrestle on television. Like it was a big deal. So like I didn't really relate to those guys as much as I did the NWA guys, because like I said, they were wrestling every Saturday or Sunday on WTBS at 6:05. You just had to get through the fishing show, and then wrestling would come on.
Once you made the decision to get into the business, like, where did you go train at, and who trained you?
Okay, this is like my big bastardized secret that like only like 5 people know. I was never like technically the word trained. Like I never like paid a guy to like, hey, show me a wrist lock and this and that. The Voodoo Child, Stevie Phillips and Sexy Stan, they broke in with Sean Christopher and HCW, and went through the HCW training program. And a couple months in the business, they were doing a show in Richmond and they needed a referee, and I was like, yeah, I'll come ref. So I went to Walmart, and like there's no like cheap Foot Locker shirt. Like it was like old school blue sleeve, button up, bow tie. Like I wanted to be like an old school ref. And the first night in Richmond, first night in the business, main event was Dutch Mantell and Killer Kyle. Killer Kyle he was a Smoky Mountain guy. He was original Gangstas, all that. And I remember going to the back, and Dutch asked the promoter, he's like, man, where did you get this ref at? Like, he's really good. And like everybody told him, they were like, it's his first night. And like Dutch thought we were ribbing him. And I was like, no man, like this is this is my first time doing it, but you grow up watching it. Yeah. And it's like you know what a ref is supposed to do, and so anyway, I reffed for a while, and that night I bought like a lucha mask off of Dutch. And so of course I'm like, I'm gonna keep it in my bag, and like one day somebody's not gonna show up, and I'm gonna put these.
Use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get these Suburban camo pants at the flea market and put those in my bag, and get a wife beater and put that in my bag. And I had like these old Fila patent leather shoes that I bought because I was an idiot, and but I was like, they're patent leather, they're wrestling boots, and sure enough, like of course I'd always get in the ring before the show, and monkey see, monkey do. Yeah. And like they had a no-show, and rock and roll Marty Gibson, God rest his soul, he needed an opponent, and right there in the locker room, the Spanish Fly, the mayor of Tijuana, Mexico, was born. And I never thought, I guess that was my first taste of like on how easy it is to work a crowd, is like when a pale freckled kid comes out build from Tijuana, Mexico, and it gets over. It's like this is easy. So, and yeah, so like I said, I kept doing that and kept training, and I did. We went to Hazard and trained with Sean at Sean Christopher at his house, and then like Sean would bring some guys in. Bo James came up from Tennessee, and I think Bo was like the first one that actually was like, this. Me, Stevie, Stanley, like, you guys have potential, but, like, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, kind of help you along the way.
Yeah. So we went to Kingsport, and, Bo kind of taught us. Bo was the first one that, like, taught me, like, psychology and, like, how to put together a match and kind of, like, like a reason and rhyme of what to do.
Polished you, if you will.
Yeah, Bo James has polished quite a few young men, I would imagine.
Yes, I would say so. I was in the ring with him, and he polished the fuck out of me.
Good Bo James story. He's working Stevie in Somerset and gives him a backbreaker, and he's got him over his knee there, and he says, "Hey, Stevie, what's worse than pink eye?" Just ribbing him. So Stevie's like, "I don't know." And he said, "Pink belly," and he slapped him as hard as you can slap a human being on the stomach. And so, yeah, thanks, Bo. Well, I don't care. You did it to Stevie. I don't care. I'd like to do it too. So.
We laugh about it now.
Yeah.
He probably deserved it.
Yeah.
So, when did you come up and decide to be Loverboy Brock Landers? How'd that come about?
Well, my ref name was Brock Landers, and then of course there's the big angle of the Spanish Fly being unmasked, and I'm supposed to be this heel ref, and I was like, I'm stuck with the Brock Landers name, so I need to try to, I'm like old school 70s and 80s, like in my mind, like your nickname kind of has to start with the first letter or sound like your real name, and just an old school Dennis Condrey fan from the Midnight Express, and I was like the Loverboy, it's kind of like the Nature Boy, but it's the Loverboy, and the Loverboy, the boy lover. There might be some undertones there. It'll get heat. I'll go with it. And so that's like, then I, got the gear made up, and I was like so proud because I had my little Loverboy across my ass and showing off my new tights. And like freaking a week later, like we're booked on a show with fucking Bobby and Dennis. And I'm like, well, I can't wear the Loverboy tights tonight because the real fucking Loverboy is here. So I'll just be Brock Landers tonight. So yeah, that was like just coming out of the mask and transitioning into the Loverboy deal, and then getting put with Stevie in a tag team. He broke in with Stan. They were the new breed, one of the many new breeds I'm sure that have been in professional wrestling, but yeah, they needed us to do a tag, and we were christened the Heartbreakers. Some say that we were Sean Marks, but I don't know what they're talking about.
Sean who?
Yeah, Sean who? I don't know.
Who's Sean?
I mean, it probably doesn't come up much because I feel like people are probably like, "Oh, he's had the name forever. Who cares?" But like, Brock Landers, you got Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, so here's that. So I'll have to admit, I listened to your last podcast, and I know you interviewed Corey Statik, and I was like, I thought this was a wrestling podcast, but then I thought, why the fuck are they talking about movies and video games? And I thought, well, that's because Corey Statik doesn't know shit about wrestling.
Absolutely.
So what else are we talking about? But like I remember you all asking him his favorite movies. Well, my favorite movie is Boogie Nights, and in Boogie Nights, there's a character named Eddie Adams, and then Eddie Adams gets into the porn industry, and his name is Dirk Diggler. Then Dirk Diggler stars in a feature film, and this is all within the movie, and Dirk Diggler's character is Brock Landers. And I'm like, that's a great fucking name, because I can't be Dirk Diggler, because that's, who's going to do that?
Too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to be Dolph Ziggler? That's just a ripoff, right? so I've got this name, and I'm like, cool, this works. And I remember around the same time reading, this was like before the internet and all that, and in any kind of wrestling news you got, PWI or Wrestle America or The Wrestler or whatever. And I remember flipping through it on the back, it was like, the WWF has signed this new prospect, and his name is Brock Lesnar. And I look, and I don't know if you've ever seen like Brock Lesnar's yearbook photo for Minnesota, but he's got like the dorky glasses, and he's just like a total goober, and I'm like, oh, this kid's never going to make it, I'm safe. And so I don't know if he ever got over or not, but I mean,
I don't know whatever happened.
I don't know if that guy ever made any money, but I mean, Brock Landers is still around. So. Funny story about that though. I remember, we were doing the deal in the locker room, introducing everybody, and AJ Styles comes over to shake my hand, and he's like, "Hey, I'm AJ," and I'm like, "Hey, Brock Landers," because I wasn't smart enough to give him my shoot name. So I'm like, "Yeah, Brock Landers," and he goes, "Say what?" And I was like, "Brock Landers." He's like, "Oh, that's great." And he's like, "Tony, come here," and he gets Tony Mamaluke over there, and he's like, "Hey, introduce yourself to this guy," and he's like, "Hey, I'm Sergi," or whatever, and I'm like, "Hey, Brock Landers." He goes, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what the fuck is so funny? And I'm like, oh, they think I'm saying Brock Lesnar, and like I'm ribbing them, and no, it's just I have shitty timing with my name. So. Great gimmick.
Hey, you stuck with it.
That's right. Yeah, you just gotta see that shit through, man.
I imagine you don't do the F5.
No.
What is your favorite move?
My favorite move, and I know you guys, like to think that you're wrestling historians and stuff, but it's called a collar and elbow. Mm-hmm. And I start off every match with that patented move, and I've seen a lot of guys steal that move. Yeah. I mean, just 99% of your matches, guys are ripping me off using collar and elbow.
Them bastards.
I know.
But the thing is they don't do it right anymore.
No. They're fucking my shit all up, man. I got the best collar and elbow in the business.
That's what I've been involved with.
Same thing with my finish. Everyone's been stealing my finish.
Yeah? What's that?
The lateral press. Yeah.
You're going to win a match with
dude, you know how many matches I've won with a lateral press?
Not near as many of you lost. Same here.
Yeah.
It must be insulting when people use it against you.
Yeah, dude. Like, and like anytime, like you'll see stuff like a guy will throw a chop on TV and woo, and they put on the figure four and woo, and like some marks like to throw super kicks, and it's like, oh yeah, Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. But like nobody ever credits me when they use a lateral press, and I feel like
you see it everywhere.
Oh yeah, I mean it doesn't matter. I mean, New York, Ring of Honor, Japan, it doesn't matter where you're working. Guys are using my shit.
I would almost say it's overused.
It's killed. I mean, it's like
your finish.
Yeah, so now I'm fucking schoolboying guys and just trying to like come up with a new pinning combination. I've really been practicing the small package, which my old lady, she has a problem with it, and I'm like, it's what I got to work with.
So the Loverboy hits the schoolboy.
Yep.
And it's a small package.
Yeah. I love schoolboys. Yeah. And I have a thing for small packages. And
it's a good combination.
Yeah. I got a great backdoor spot that you would love.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
I just like to add that Mr. Landers just showed his age because he referred to WWE as New York just now. So
territories ain't dead, brother.
In the years you've been wrestling, do you have an opponent that has stuck out the most as like your favorite to work with?
As far as a favorite opponent, it would have to be Sexy Stan Sierra. He's one of those guys. I mean, he has that look, like like I see him and it's just like I want to fucking slap your mom. Like that's like what he brings out of me, and like I would literally travel across God's green earth just to slap the shit. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I don't like the guy. I don't like anything about him. I don't like anybody in his family. If he had a fucking dog, I would kick the shit out of it and just giggle my motherfucking ass off. Because I just, we got heat, and we're always gonna have heat. And
hey, you gotta have an enemy.
Yeah. I mean,
mine is Matt. It's really awkward sometimes.
I see. Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah. I mean,
and he's working that Dudley Boy gimmick like a motherfucker right now.
He really is.
She's gonna put you to his table because you're not safe.
Stop making fun of me.
Just for the record, we don't go through tables.
Yeah. For those listening, since there's no visual here, Matt has this like epoxy tape on his glasses.
I do.
So it's very Bubba Ray
like.
Yeah.
If he would cut his hair,
I can't cut. My hair's beautiful.
He can't cut his hair.
He's like fucking. What's that guy in the Bible?
Samson.
Jesus.
The Lord. He had long hair and he killed that fucking John, I think.
Jesus, I think. Yeah.
That's all of them, brother.
Devil.
Mary? You're talking about Mary, maybe?
Mary Magdalene?
She's over, brother. She's over. She was the original ring rat.
Original rat, yeah. Fucking OG, man.
I mean, think about it. That was like the first stable ever. you
Yeah,
know? Like Jesus was Ric Flair, and like he had the 12 disciples.
And Judas was a heel turn.
Yeah. Fucking, who didn't see that coming, man? Like, come on,
Hey, man.
Judas turn, man.
The Judas turn. I'm gonna start referring to this as the Judas turn. You fucking
Your
Judas.
finish could be like the kiss of death.
Kiss of death, yeah. We'll just do a fucking biblical gimmick.
30 shekels.
You bring in like fucking other guys from different territories. It'd be like Pontius Pilate and shit.
You got the beard on.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great, man.
It worked for Punk, right? I mean, he got rejuvenated his career. Fuck. Rip shit off all the time. People are gonna rip off your finish.
Yeah.
We can rip off CM Punk's gimmick.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever.
Well, what's your theme song?
My theme song is the greatest theme song of all time. I don't know if you're familiar with a R&B legend, Billy Ocean.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, he has a classic tune called Loverboy.
Yeah.
And I had to thank my friend Wes Brown for that. You know how it is, you're being young and stupid. You're like, oh, I got to think of this badass song to come out to. And like I'm playing like all these like hardcore rap songs or like fucking Rick Rubin produced shit. And I'm like, because I'm going to be this big badass wrestler. And like Wes just shows up and he's like, I got your theme song right here. And he like puts it in and hits play. And it's got like this big like intro thing. And like if we were on like Name That Tune, like my roommate at the time, the Colonel Kurt Brinson, like he's like, I can name that tune in one note. That's Billy Ocean Loverboy. I was like, God damn. I mean, and it just stuck. So it's heel, baby face. It doesn't matter.
It's over.
It's the Loverboy. Billy Ocean. It was either that or Caribbean Queen. So I don't know. That's a different gimmick.
That's for after the show.
Yeah.
Man, we talked about a lot of shit when people weren't hearing because we weren't recording anything.
Yeah.
But we talked about something I think I'd like to hear you talk about on here because I think everybody'd like to hear about it. Let's talk about you and Dusty Rhodes.
Me and the son of a plumber.
Dream.
The dream. I was working for NWA Bluegrass, and they were doing a show, I want to say in Pikeville, Prestonburg, Salyerville. If you get past Hazard, like all that shit is just like Eastern Kentucky.
It's a bunch of peas and a bunch of hills.
Yeah, it's just all one thing. But Bluegrass was nice enough to book me, and I'm gonna back up for a second and give some backstory on how I got with Bluegrass, if you don't mind. We were doing a show in Somerset, and normally, HCW, we would run the Armory. And the promoter at the time, Sean Christopher.
Super cool guy.
Yeah, great guy. I've been hit in the head with many inanimate objects by Sean Christopher. The hood of a Volkswagen Beetle. Stop sign. Just anything you can imagine. Fan participation, frying pan match. Ooh. He had some great ideas.
Dildo?
No, but I did see a guy at the Three Nights Club in Corbin get beat with a rubber dildo.
There you go.
And I was just like, holy shit, is it Friday already? but I digress. Anyway, Sean had decided to book the center. Yeah, they had just built a beautiful building and didn't book a name. He was going to push HCW talent. And the main event that night was myself versus my arch nemesis, Sexy Stan Sierra, who may have been like the Southern Outlaw Stan Sierra or some other thing with an S.
But currently he's sexy.
Yeah, currently
you would say that Stan Sierra is sexy right now.
If I were to
He would definitely say
if I were to go to Stan Sierra's house right now, I would be like, that is Sexy Stan Sierra. And in my mind, he would be like, I woke up like this. but he probably wouldn't because he doesn't know who Beyonce is, which is a damn shame. But yeah, we were booked, and it was the course. It was like a gimmick match, and it was like four corners of doom or death, and like there were like boxes of shit I'll tell you what it was. The belt was in one of the boxes.
Yeah.
And then I guess there were like gimmicks in the other one. And like,
they did it in WCW.
yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, well, you know, it's because they didn't book us, brother. We pulled it off. But but yeah, you know, I mean, so we do the deal, and there's like, you know, pretty good draw, like 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people, and.
Hanging from the raft.
Yeah, oh yeah, standing room only, brother. And we went 60 minutes Broadway. But yeah, one of the guys that was in the crowd that night was the booker for NWA Bluegrass. So like he sees us, you know, have a above average match and this really nice building and like a big draw. So like he goes back and tells the promoter of Bluegrass, Chris Draven at the time, like, man, like I saw this show and this match and this guy is a big deal. Like, little did they know, like, I'm a fucking nobody. You know, it's like I'm just working in my hometown. That's it. And like they started booking me for shows, and they brought Stan over, they brought Stevie over, and Bluegrass, man, they were always good. They brought in like big legends. They brought in indie guys. And they were like, you know, we're going to book you, and we're going to do a tag. And at the time, when they pitched it, it was going to be Chris Draven and Jerry the King Lawler against the Heartbreakers. And, I mean, you know, you're promised shit. You know, you're promised the moon on the indies. You know, brother, we're going to bring you in. We're going to bring in this guy and that guy. We're going to put you over. We're going to make you a star, kid, and all that. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's not going to happen. And, like, sure enough, like 2 weeks before the show, Lawler pulls out, because he's covering some Hogan's dates for the WWE, and so Michael Lovely and the promoter, they're like, well, we're gonna try to get Dusty to take his place, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And day of the show, my buddy goes to pick Dusty up at the airport, and he calls me, and he's like, I got Dusty Rhodes in my backseat right now. I'm with Dusty Rhodes, and I'm like, okay, this is the rib, like everybody's fucking with us. And sure enough, like we're sitting in like the office of some car lot of wherever this match is going to take place, and like fucking Dusty Rhodes walks in, and I'm just like, holy shit, it's Dusty Rhodes. And usually when you book a name on the indies, you know, they'll take the hot tag and boom, boom, boom.
You go hot fish, go home.
Yeah, and so, you know, I'm talking to some guys, we're going over the opener and all this, and we get out there, and Dusty won't powder. And I'm like trying to buy time, and I'm, you know, cowering off and all that. And I tell the ref, I'm like, you know, tell Chris to get in the ring here so we can get this thing started. And he's like, man, Dusty wants to walk and talk tonight. And I was like, with me, motherfucker? Like, no. And like finally, like, you know, like we lock up, and you know, he calls some shit, and I do my best. I mean, it's Dusty Rhodes. You got to sell your ass off. And so we did the deal, and you know, took the flip flop, the fly, the bionic elbow, and all that, and just played the chicken shit heels that we are, and get to the back. And I mean, like, Dusty is just like, of all the people you meet on the indies that are pricks and have attitudes, and like guys that think that they're superstars and just shit on you, Dusty Rhodes, not just in the wrestling business, but in real life, is the nicest person that I've ever met. Any of the boys, anybody that had anything to sign, like the man got carpal tunnel from signing like so many fucking things for people. Like, he gave me an 8x10 and signed it for my dad, and just you know, really put us over and talked good about us. And I remember my buddy took Dusty back to the airport that night. And I kept telling him, I was like, ask Dusty about the match. Ask Dusty about the match. Like, see what he thinks about us. So I'm getting reports back as they're driving back to Lexington to the airport. And I'm like, what's he saying? What's he saying? He's like, well, Dusty just called Dustin. And I think Dustin had worked a SmackDown taping with Brock Lesnar, whoever the fuck that is.
Some fucking
yeah, some fucking cheap ripoff. And he's, you know, Dustin's telling Dusty about, you know, yeah, I worked with Brock tonight and we did this. And like, Wes is telling me that, like, he can tell, like, Dustin is asking, like, well, who did you work? And Dusty's reply was, I don't know, like 2 gay guys. And I was like, okay, that's not what I really was going for, but like just like keep asking him about the match, you know. And finally, like, you know, he said they were talking like, well, what'd you think tonight? Did you have a good time? And Dusty told him, he said, man, he said, I'm not even gonna trouble you with a Dusty Rhodes impersonation because everybody does them, but he told him, he said, man, those guys were straight out of a John Wayne movie. And at the time, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what kind of encoder bullshit do I need to find out? Like, is this like another like old Memphis rib that I don't know about? And like, come to find out, like, Dusty was a huge John Wayne mark, and you know, just loved the westerns and stuff. And what I hope Dusty was saying is like that we played our parts perfectly. You know, like Dusty was John Wayne, and he rode into town, and you sell your ass off. He's Dusty Rhodes. So it was, I mean, the highlight of my career. And, you know, like, you know, just for the next 10 years, it's just been a slow downward spiral and burn. And now I've ended up here on a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is really the dregs of things.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, we do our best to get out of this stuff as much as we can ourselves.
Well, I mean, like on the upside, like I have nowhere to go but up from here.
that's true.
So
That's true.
you know.
But however, no matter what you think, this show is not going to help with that.
No, probably not.
We are. Yeah, really, this is going to fuck you worse than you can imagine.
Hold on, my phone is going off. Okay, I just lost a booking. That's great. That's great.
There you go.
And it starts.
Hey, we gave you a free weekend.
yeah, they can be on an interview with us.
You guys do interviews?
Oh,
I've seen some interviews on YouTube. That's I don't recognize you guys.
No,
it's not us.
Oh. Huh?
What?
I'm sorry. What?
That's not us.
I can't hear. What'd you say?
Come again?
I'm sorry.
That's not us.
I'm sorry. Bacon powder.
bacon. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sphincter says what? Pound bacon. I'm lost now.
Much like our matches.
Yeah.
Involved into
I'm lost.
nothingness here.
I'm
It's
lost.
ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Okay. So you took some time off from wrestling for a while.
Yeah. You know, after you're a kid, you're young, and you think you have these delusions of grandeur, like I'm gonna make it, and you don't realize that you're 5'10" and 185 pounds, and you have fucking pale skin and freckles and a big fucking nose, and you're not the most athletic person in the world, but you think, I'm just gonna apply myself to this craft, and I'm gonna make it, and like you see guys like John Noble and Chance Prophet and like local guys that, as much as it pains me to say, are way better than I ever was or ever will be, and you see those guys getting turned away, and it's like, well, fuck, if they're not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it. And it's like, you know, we were doing a lot of shows with the NWA, and I was like, you know, I'm never, like, this is my glass ceiling, like, I'm never gonna do it, so what the fuck, like, I'm just spinning my wheels, and just said fuck it. And you know, it's like, I don't need wrestling. I can manage a fucking GameStop, man. Fucking make $28,000 a year. I don't fucking need that shit. And, I took some time off, and for a couple of years now, Scotty Ray, which I don't know if you've ever seen his work, but if you ever have trouble fucking sleeping, just put in a Scotty Ray match, and there you go. But yeah, he just kept hounding me, wanting to, you know, if I was going to come back. And Stevie and Stan, you know, they were kind of sporadically, which fuck, Stan's been on fire for like 3 or 4 years now. I mean, he's been killing it, you know, all over the Southeast. And, you know, he pitched a deal to come in. He was doing a new Fed, and he needed some star power, so he booked Davey Richards, not us. But
And when everybody else backed down.
yeah. But then he needed some fillers, so the Heartbreakers dusted off our tights and boots, and my tights didn't fit. So yeah.
So what's the modern Brock Lesnar as opposed to the 90s Brock Lesnar?
You know, I mean, like 90s Brock Landers
Didn't have a beard.
That's about it. Yeah, most of his ring wear probably came from the Gap at the time, and but yeah, then you know, you you give up and you just grow a beard and grow your hair back out, and your wife asks you why, and
You try not to make her think it's about her.
yeah, and you think, baby, it's not you, it's me. I'm just depressed, and then you're like, oh wait, now I have like a whole new look, and then you get back into wrestling, and then your wife is like, did you grow your hair out and beard because you knew for the last 2 years you're gonna get back into wrestling?
You're just like, I love Daniel Bryan.
And I'm like, who stooged you off and smartened you up to this shit? And so like now, like she's just begging for me to get booked in a hair versus hair or hair versus beard match, and
I think you're missing out, man. With the beard and the hair, you could be like the GOAT Loverboy now.
I don't. Like the greatest of all time, Loverboy. I don't. The goat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's it. Spin it positive.
Yeah. Like I was actually asked. I was at Fayette Mall, and I had a T-shirt on. Had the Four Horsemen. It was designed by Class, 1974. Google them; they're a great company. And I had like the wrestling shirt on. I had the. I can't remember if I had the. I don't know if I had the man bun or the luscious locks were down. I had a beard, and there's other like douchey bros that you'll see at the mall, and like there was like a douchey bro who you could tell that he'd probably lifted some weights and ran a cycle of test or two, and he's like eyeballing me, and I'm like, do you want to make out? Like, what? Like, do I meet you in the men's room?
That's your
like,
first instinct.
Yeah. Like, do you have $20? Like, I don't know where this is going, but like, his old lady finally comes over, and she's like, hey, is your name Daniel? And I was like, no, my name's Brock Landers, because I give my work name to everybody. But and I was like, no. She's like, are you a wrestler? And I was like, no, because kayfabe's not dead at Fayette Mall, so no, I'm not. And like she like thought I was fucking Daniel Bryan, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like
for one, you're like 10 inches taller than
yeah, exactly. I know I'm fucking bigger than him. I know I can fucking work circles around that fucking greenhorn, and I'm just like I was appalled and offended. Yeah. And then like the fucking $1 Million Man tweets a picture of me kissing his feet.
Photoshop.
And everybody's on the fucking dirt sheet saying, is that Daniel Bryan? I'm like, who the fuck is Daniel Bryan? Like, I know who the American Dragon is, but I don't know who this fucking guy everybody.
I know who Bryan Daniels is.
yeah, but like I just
that fucker doesn't have a beard.
No, he doesn't. He's got like a burr haircut.
Yeah. He's a literal baby face.
Yeah, it's another sawed-off midget and kick pads. I don't know who that guy is.
We don't watch wrestling past 2004.
What's one of like a very story you love the most from the road?
Oh, well, let me see. Since I'll be returning to the Wayne County Fair on Monday, June the 29th. I don't know when this is going to air, but anyway, I'll be making my return to Wayne County, so I'll tell this story. Several years ago, for HCW, again, me and that no good dastardly Stan Sierra, we were about to square off, and I mean probably the biggest main event in the history of our sport, and so big that we needed a special guest referee, Voodoo Child Stevie Phillips. So we're setting the match up, and I remember for the first time in the locker room, like again, this is like the late 90s, and we had like a TV in the locker room, and it was like a big fucking deal because I'd never been, first of all, I'd never probably been in a real locker room that wasn't like a tarp, and I'd definitely never seen like the matches on a like monitor in the back. It's like all night I'm just marked out over this monitor like, this is the greatest thing ever, and so Sexy Stan goes out, and he's the big monster heel, and he's in the ring, and he's, I'm a heel, blah, 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 and you're a redneck, and blah, blah, blah. So we're, like, watching it, and he, like, does the deal, like, where you sit on the ropes, and you're, like, bad-mouthing, you're like, hey, you want some of this? Well, come on in here, tough guy. And lo and behold, apparently security was nowhere to be found, and just one of the local yokels decides that he's going to be Superman, and somehow breaks the caution tape, not the barrier, whatever was keeping him
miraculously.
Back. Yeah, I don't know how he had the strength to do that. So in the back on the monitor, all we see is a fan getting ready to get in the ring, which we presume is going to attack Stan Sierra,
who is a 6'5".
Yeah. Out of all the wrestlers on the show that night, you got like, I Am Smooth and Rick Gunner and me or the Voodoo Child, like, you know, men of smaller stature that you could attack. But why you pick the biggest, baddest, ugliest motherfucker to do that? I don't know why, but
that's what they tell you to do in prison.
Yeah.
So, and this motherfucker's probably been there.
Oh yeah, this guy had done some time at Wayne County Correctional.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because I'm from Monticello.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, well, you probably know this story. So anyway, we're seeing this on the monitor in the back. So when we see that, we make a beeline, like, to go out into the armory there. Well, what happens while we are on the way to the ringside is this fan ducks his head to get into the ring, and when he does, Sexy Stan works it like a fucking speed bag. Like, just fucking bap, 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 like 8 unanswered blows to the fucking dome. And, like, the dude, like, fucking falls, and he's, like, fucking out of it. Which, once he's rendered unconscious, security miraculously goes to grab him. So, again, we didn't see all of this. We're out to, like, you know, protect, you know, one of the boys, we think. So we get out there, and, like, security's, you know, like, around the guy, and the guy's starting to get back up, and he goes to grab a chair. And about the time he does, on a dead sprint, the Voodoo Child just clocks this motherfucker, just blindsides him, and just fucking, like a Mike Tyson blow. You know what I mean? He's fucking out, right? So, security fucking grabs him, and, like fucking, it reminds me of, like, Vince and Austin, when Austin's in the rope and Vince is in his face, and, like, so, like, the Voodoo Child's, like, fucking pointing and doing all this shit, and, like, raging out on this fucking kid. And at this point, all of the fine citizens of Wayne County realize, like, hey, that's a good guy, he ain't supposed to hit us. So they're going to protect their own. So here comes this fucking riot scene inside the Wayne County National Guard Armory.
Oh, you forgot one of the important things when the fucking security guards had the guy pinned up.
And the Voodoo... Well, the
Voodoo Child hits him.
The Voodoo Child says he didn't.
No, he said he hit him again. He said he didn't. The confusion was you thought he had him by the chin.
Yeah, and popped him.
When Stevie said, no, I just...
he did, yeah. I mean,
he tried to buck up on him.
Yeah, the dude was being chicken winged. Regardless, he was defenseless. And the Voodoo Child got one in for good measure. But so anyway, we all get sequestered to the back. And so, like, we're, like, in the back, and, like, the fucking, like, at this point, like, the show's over, folks. Like, everybody's leaving. Well, they have figured out which room we're in. And they're, like, beating on the windows and shit to get in. So, Sexy Stan, he's like, if anybody... hold on, I'm sorry, I've got to do my Sexy Stan. I'll tell you one damn thing. If anybody's getting out of here alive tonight, it's me. And he reaches into his fucking bag and pulls out a fucking Dirty Harry 357. Like the fucking dude from, like, Police Academy. Like, with the fucking cannon shit on it. And I'm like fucking 19, 20 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know? So, anyway, the police come, and, like, you know, everybody goes home, and they're like, man, this fucking guy's still in the parking lot. Like, he's not leaving. And I'm like, what? Like, you just got your ass kicked twice. Like, what more do you want, dude? So, we're on our way back home, and we have a fucking police escort, and it is a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy, the Doo-Doo Child and the Loverboy, and then another car behind us is Sexy Stan, and behind him is a Monticello City Police, and behind them is the fucking Mark that got his ass kicked. And he follows us all the way to the Wayne County line, and, like, they have to, like, pull the motherfucker over. And, like, needless to say, we didn't go back to fucking Wayne County. First of all, no offense, I don't ever want to go back to Wayne County.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I'm going to go back on the 29th to sell some fucking t-shirts, so...
And you've announced it. And if they're there ahead of time...
Oh, yeah.
This fucker... a whole group waiting.
Yeah, they're going to fucking know.
It's actually Hoagie.
Yeah, I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah.
Are you related to JD Thunder? Because I see a resemblance.
Not at all.
Because he's going to be there on the 29th, and I know that he's going to have something to say about all this Confederate flag shit. Because that man fucking loves the Fabulous Freebirds, and he loves the Confederacy.
Yes.
And I know he's going to be there, and I've got to tell this great JD Thunder story. During my sabbatical, when I walked away from my glorious sport, the Doo-Doo Child was left to fend for himself and needed a partner. So the only man that could ever try to fill my shoes is JD Thunder. So they have formed this alliance, and they're doing their tag gimmick, and JD is like, hey man, like, we've got this deal going, we should get some shirts made up.
Yeah.
And Stevie's like, that's a great idea, but don't put a fucking Confederate flag or a goddamn Rottweiler on these shirts. So JD Thunder's like, all right, man, that 10-4, good buddy. I'm going to get us some shirts. At the next show, JD Thunder arrives and he says, hey, Voodoo Child, I got some shirts made up. Hands Stevie the shirt, and it's a fucking Confederate flag with a Rottweiler on the top of it. So they're stuck in the Freebirds gimmick. So they're working it, and now here it is 10 years later, and it's a fucking hot button issue. So I mean, JD Thunder's had his pulse on this for a long time.
So he's basically gonna come out draped in Confederate flags.
I think so. Dude, he's got a fucking cape that would put Michael P.S. Hayes to shame.
Yeah. Is your paint his face, you think?
Well, I mean, maybe if it gets stuck to a war game situation, he fucking might do it, man. Here's another great story, and this doesn't have to do with JD Thunder or anything, or wrestling related. It just has to do with fucking the Confederate flag. My buddies were in a bluegrass band, and they were playing a show at a Civil War reenactment and got in a fucking fight over who had to dress up as the Northerners. You can't make this shit up, man.
Do I know any of these group of people?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
But yeah, like,
Thank God.
yeah, I was just like, that's fucking, you can't, like, only in Kentucky, man.
Yeah.
Which we were neutral. Like, come on, man. Like, this,
not even technically the South.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's, some Southern roots here.
People own it.
Yeah. Going back to the fan story, what was it, a younger guy or older guy? Because
this guy's like probably like at the time like early 20s.
Okay, I think I may know who it is.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
no joke.
Yeah, I mean he has to be physically deformed after the beating that he took.
This guy, he's a really big dude, and I always remember in Monticello they had this thing on the radio called Tradio, where you can call and like sell
chickens, goats, lawnmowers.
And this guy would always call. And
he was threatening the Heartbreakers.
He's like, no, I ain't gonna chickens, but I tell you what, Brock Lesnar's been watching this.
I got a fucking ass whipping to fucking dole out.
The Heartbreakers are gonna hear me on this radio. These radio waves are reaching to wherever you are.
Yeah.
No, he would call him there. He'd be like, this is Big A from the cool side of town.
I hope that was fucking him.
I hope that was the other side of the railroad tracks.
Do you think it's him just because you hope it was him?
And he would get on there and be like, yeah, I'm calling to see if anybody's got any wrestling tapes for sale.
That's probably fucking God. I hope.
This reminds me of that. I can see him doing that.
If he's there on the 29th, I know fucking Sexy Stan has that dude's fucking image superimposed in his fucking brain, and he's gonna have a fucking PTSD fucking flashback when he sees this guy. So it's gonna be a good time.
I would like to add that my favorite part, the fucking one time in your life, Brock, that you've been the innocent bystander, was in this fucking story.
Oh yeah, I fucking missed the whole part with the cops, right?
Yeah.
So the fucking cops come, and they're at the building. Like this guy's like, man, this wrestler whooped my ass, So like they want to see the tape. So like they go to the promoter and they pull the fucking tape, right? So they're watching the tape back, and like they see the dude like, break the barricade, try to get in the ring, and then like, bam, Stan beats his ass. And they're like, okay, like that's warranted. Like you're protecting yourself. He's not supposed to be there. So then they're watching the tape, and then it's like they see fucking Stevie just fucking blindside this dude, and they're like, well, like you didn't see what happened. You were just trying to protect your brother, like. That's a gray area. Well, then, like, they fucking show, like, where the dude's, like, defenseless, and Stevie, like, blouses him one more time. They're like, that's a little bit much.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm like, fuck. Stevie's going to jail.
Yeah.
On the ride to the fucking show that night, we're talking, and we're like, man, best friends, they don't fucking bail you out of jail. They're in there with you. So in my mind, this whole time, this cop is like looking at this footage. I'm like, what in the fuck am I gonna have to do to go to jail tonight? Like, I'm like, do I try to fucking fight the cop? Do I like fucking go for his weapon? Like, what? Do
I have to murder all these police?
Yeah. Like I've got to find a way to end up in jail with Stevie tonight, and it's not just for the soap dropping. Like, I've got to get in there.
That's just a bonus.
Or he's gonna think I'm not his friend. And but yeah, luckily nobody went to jail that night.
That's good.
And as far as I know, none of us have ever been to jail. But I do know that some of us have dropped the soap more than others. So. I'm a pitcher, by the way. I believe a power bottom is what it's called.
Power bottom, because you give all the force.
With
the bottom.
That's
what the kids are calling it.
That's what the cool kids call it.
Power
Apart
bottom.
from the Wayne County incident, how many fans have crossed the barrier in Loverboy?
On the Loverboy, I only know of one that actually crossed it, and that was actually in Irvin a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, if that fucking 4-year-old would have gotten his ring, he would have got fucking size 11 upside his fucking head. I'll tell you that. I do know a gentleman in Corbin took a little bit of offense to me trying to fist fight his newborn baby. And I will say this is all this like Facebook and shit, like it wasn't around back when I worked a lot. So when you get a message from a guy on Facebook and it says, "You tried to hit my baby, that ain't cool," it's like, holy fuck.
Was it all lowercase?
It was. I think it was all caps with no punctuation. But I was like shit got real, you know. And I'm like, dude, like it's all part of the show. I don't care. That's my baby. And I'm like, hey man, if you come to the show on August 1st, I'll give you a free Life as a Work shirt. And his words were, "Do you got a 4X for my wife?"
No shit.
Wow. And that's a fucking shoot, and I'll show you the message. So yeah, if you ever try to punch a baby, one 4X t-shirt will get you back in that dude's good graces.
Well, I gotta say, you gotta weigh it out.
Hey.
Baby keeps you up at night, eats all your shit. T-shirt makes you look cool.
Super cool.
That baby has to learn.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll fight any 2 babies. Yeah. Any fucking 3 kids in wheelchairs. Any 4 pregnant women, I will fucking fist fight.
5 old ladies.
Yeah, 5 old. You're pushing it there. Okay, I'm not the fighting man like you are. When the odds are against me, I know when to make the hot tag.
Matt's that's really what he's known for is fighting old ladies.
I'll fight old ladies. I'll fight right now.
He prefers them in a rest home environment.
Okay.
So they're ready. That's their home turf.
Right.
You know, he's not giving them an advantage.
Yeah.
And but
It's almost 2 a.m. They should probably be getting up.
Hey,
they go to bed at what?
I'll fight them. We'll watch Matlock. I'll fight them again.
Yeah, fucking Matlock break. Murder She Wrote.
I always wanted to see like Perry Mason versus Matlock. Like to me, that would have been like the greatest.
Well, Perry Mason took on Godzilla.
That's you have a point there. Touche.
Dust off that one. Fucking.
oh man.
Oh. Crazy stuff.
That was a lot of crazy stuff.
Awesome.
Died and then just fucking died.
Yeah.
Audio.
That's like a
There's
fucking.
nothing to keep it going.
This is like a fucking Corey Statik hope spot right here.
Yeah. There's nothing fucking to it.
Everybody just sitting on their fucking hands.
Fuck you. I don't bump unless I have to. They don't pay me extra to bump.
It's really weird though. Like halfway through an interview, people start taking clothes off. Now we're all just pantsless and shirtless.
Now it's a party.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I can share my. This was before I even got into business. My first road trip.
Wait, when the fuck did you get in the business?
Last week.
Okay.
I watched your match and was like, fuck, I can do that. God damn, is that it? My first road trip, before I even started what I like to refer to as wrestling, was with Brock and Stevie. Now, I'd met Brock previously because he worked, and we just kind of, I don't remember meeting you. I just was like, okay, we like wrestling, and that was pretty much it. I was probably 17 or 18 at the time.
I have a thing for underage boys.
Take them under your wing.
That's right.
And after I told him I was 18, it was just like, okay, we can still hang out. But
We're just not going to do that other stuff.
Yeah. You got any other friends or something?
Plenty.
You got another kid?
Plenty. We went to, where the fuck did Burnside? Not Burnside. Fucking Belfry. And so I met Rodney. I showed up at
Who the
work.
fuck is Rodney?
Brock.
Oh.
Brock, sorry. And he's like, you want to go to a wrestling show? And I was like, sure. Little did I know it was a 3-hour fucking car trip. So I meet him at his apartment, and fucking this is where I met Stevie Phillips as well. And if you've never met Stevie before, and he comes in Brock's apartment, and he's already...
Who the fuck is this guy you keep talking about?
He was your roommate.
Oh, yeah.
And
Good looking guy.
He was very handsome. And if you've never met Stevie Phillips before in your first incarnate, he was long haired at the time, 6'3", 6'4", pissed off already when he walked in your apartment. I was like, great.
Most people are.
Or leave your apartment. So that was my first trip, and it was just, we didn't do shit. We thought we were going to get pulled over, which Brock usually does. Rodney was driving.
Yeah.
But,
well, hey, Brock can't drive.
Brock can't drive. Not anymore.
No.
That was my first when I realized, I'm like, this could be fun to actually get into, and I was wrong. Man, I was dead wrong.
Missed the mark right there.
Missed the mark. And who was on that? James Storm was on that show?
James Storm,
Eric Young.
I remember Ron Dukey was doing green cards and shit, like work visas. And like Eric Young was like, "Where were you, motherfuckers?" Like a month ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because like he was having trouble, like either getting in or they were trying to deport his ass or something. I remember this is a great. It's not a great Eric Young story, but it's fucking nasty. I don't know what supplements Eric Young was on. Maybe creatine. I don't know. But like he had the biggest, nastiest purple zits on his back.
Yes, he did.
That I've ever seen. I was like, God damn, brother. Like
I saw him from the fucking
I was like, is it worth
God
it?
Damn.
And that motherfucker goes out there, and after 2 or 3 bumps, his fucking back, it looked like he was in a fucking death match. Like thumbtack, like there was blood. And I was like, you know what? It's fucking not worth it. Like it's not like if like having a body and like being in shape, but like having fucking raging purple zits that bleed when you bump. No thanks.
Yeah,
I'm
the
good.
shape he was in was not worth that trade. I mean, he looked fine and everything.
Oh yeah,
not that fucking good though.
No.
So. Which those 4 bumps were probably all that either one of those took during that match because
it could have been just the difference in like the atmosphere from Canada.
True,
yeah,
true.
I mean,
and
who would we say?
Pressure's just
yeah.
all the blood's pushing to the back of
and
your
I think that was the
infected
first time
fucking
I'd got to
chest.
watch Brock actually work. I knew that he'd wrestled, and then I've never seen.
You knew I wrestled. You didn't know I could work, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he wrestled. I watched him wrestle. I didn't watch him work. I've never seen a crowd just instantaneously hate a motherfucker. Didn't even have to say a word.
Yeah.
As soon as he walked out, they were just fucking all over him.
I have like
was
this.
like, yeah.
I have like this face, and it's like,
You just want to hit it.
yeah, people fucking hate me, and like it. Like I can remember, like we would like the few times we would work Baby, and we were doing a deal in Corbin. And they did like every Sunday, I think it was like a weekly show, and it was like, hey, you guys actually look like wrestlers, and you're in shape, and you're good looking. So
Bluffed people yet again.
Yeah, again, got one over on them. So they're like, you guys are gonna be babies. So like we come in and. There was another fucking tag team called the Heartbreakers, which
fuck.
you know it was kind of like you remember like when they had the cartoon like the Ghostbusters on WGN.
Oh yeah,
and you're like motherfucker, you're not the Ghostbusters.
No. Then they had to make the real.
Then they had to make the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So like it was like, hey, we're the real Heartbreakers, assholes.
Yeah. No gorillas on this team.
No.
Out in the fucking talking car.
Yeah. So we come in, we're doing like the baby face thing, and like it gets over, you know, because you know we're trying to make it work, and like every match we had, there would be a heel manager, you know, managing against us, and he would try to cheat, and it would backfire, and like we would use it to our advantage, and we would win. So we did this, you know, about a month or two, building up, and then finally we get a shot at the tag titles, and like the heel manager like throws the briefcase in, like it goes over their head, you know, we catch it, bam, waffle them, 1, 2, 3, we're the champs, yay! Like everybody's happy because we won. Heel manager gets in the ring. We don't say a word. All we do is hug him. Like, you know.
I was there.
Yeah, like, hey, it was a work the whole time. He's with us. We're bad guys. Not and say a word. And I'm glad this is a NSFW podcast because the first thing I heard was, faggot! You faggots! Faggot! And I'm just like, I'm like, what is this about? Like, literally 30 seconds ago, we were like the greatest thing to hit Corbin since Colonel Sanders. Yeah. And now we're, you know, homosexuals? I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, I mean, but in Corbin, apparently it's frowned upon. You know, it's kind of like being black. It don't get over there. I don't know what it is about Corbin. Like, seriously. You would,
Town full of hate.
it really is. You would think a place that is the birthplace of KFC would be much more open to African Americans, but they are closed-minded as fuck. And if you're from Corbin, I'm sorry. Not that I've offended you, that you live in Corbin. I'm sorry for that. It's fucking 2015, motherfuckers. You want to know? You want to know how fucking tough and bad the Loverboy Brock Landers is? I drive a fucking Volkswagen Beetle with Tennessee plates, with sunflowers on the dash, with a fucking Obama sticker, a human rights sticker, a Hillary Clinton sticker, and a fucking developmental podcast sticker.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every fucking day.
That's your heat magnet.
You damn right. You gotta be one tough motherfucker to drive that through the mean streets of Corbin.
There's a lot of angry prostitutes that do not like developmental talent.
And all those guys are pissed at me,
That's
by the
right.
way.
They're still waiting on those paydays.
Hey, here's a question for you, Lemon.
Yeah.
If you pay a prostitute for a blowjob up front, and halfway through the blowjob, you realize that she is a he, do you let them finish?
Is this like me personally?
Yeah.
Well, if it's already going and mouth to mouth, that's fine.
Exactly, yeah. You've already paid for it.
Because you don't get refunds.
No.
Here's my. How do
They
you
never ever
find out?
change.
Does it just stop mid blowjob?
Oh,
By the way,
no. You're. I assume you're using your hands. During
I like
the
to palm.
blowjob.
Yeah, you palm the backside.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, that's a fruit basket.
Oh,
You know, like,
there you go.
Surprise.
Fruit basket.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like the fucking crying game, man. Come on.
Fuck.
Or Ace Ventura, if you don't watch real film.
Then you
Yeah,
just,
there
then
you
you
go,
just
yeah.
push it down. You just
Yeah.
push those feelings down, and you just keep on with what you're doing.
Yeah,
Push the feelings down along with the head.
there you go.
Keep on the trucking.
I have a mean crossover. I'll tell you, from my basketball days.
Yeah. Palm and fruit basket.
Fuck.
No, just head.
Just head.
Yeah.
Just head. Now, that's another fucking podcast story. Never mind.
I think this is another fucking podcast. I don't think-
It might be a different
Yeah,
podcast we've not
that's,
developed
We're gonna
yet.
get you
Yeah.
motherfuckers kicked off
Yeah.
every site you're on.
Yeah.
Thanks to, we've not talked about wrestling hardly, just stories.
Well, he punched the guy. Oh, he didn't punch.
No,
him.
he
He didn't really
punch
do
him.
shit in Wayne County.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Really.
if you ever seen me work, I don't do shit. Literally.
He just coasts on other people's success.
That's it, dude. Fucking, we work.
Which I feel is a success in itself, really.
If you're coasting on Stevie P, you're
Oh fuck no!
That's fumes.
No,
That's
no,
brother.
no, no. I have to coast on our opponents, like fucking,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like Team IOU. Like those guys fucking made it to like $1 million.
Ron Dookie and Tony Kazina.
Tony Kazina
Half that
and
team
Ryan
was
Dookie.
great.
Yeah. Luckily Tony Kazina was there because fucking Ryan Dookie, Jesus Christ,
Pulling a fucking anchor.
he really is.
I just worked him last weekend.
Assuming more than 3 people are still listening to this at this point that haven't vomited or having seizures,
Just turn the gun.
and they wanted to find out more about you. How can they find you? You got a Facebook page?
I have a Facebook page, fan page, if you
Fan
will.
page.
Loverboy Brock Landers.
I feel like more independent wrestlers need to have those.
Yes.
So we can tag them in photos.
That I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you could tag my shoot name. I don't know what that is, but if you find out what that is, let me know.
I could probably tell you.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
just start in the A's and just alphabetically type, eventually they might find a photo.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking
Alice.
There you go.
It doesn't
Alice.
fucking help that your promo picture is the same on fucking.
No, I changed it up.
Did you
I
change it
changed
this
up.
time? Okay.
Yeah, because I got some heat because I changed my profile picture and my
Yeah.
wife was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "I didn't know that was a gimmick."
You mean
like,
you guys are still in that stage?
Yeah, well, we're
One
fucking
half-
newlyweds, man. You know, you got to put her over.
That's
so,
true.
So I was
She's
like,
alright, though.
yeah, she's great. I love
She's
her.
cool, yeah.
Why are you laughing?
You can cut that. She's all right. She's gonna be very beneficial to me. I feel like one day with her
Yes.
law career.
Yes. If you have any law-related questions,
You can find her at your merch table.
you can find her at the merch table. She'll be the good-looking blonde and
Taking
life is
pictures
a work
with all
shirt.
the marks.
Yeah. Hey, if you're a mark and you want a picture with my wife, that's cool, but it's gonna cost you $5.
Yeah, no shit.
No more fucking giving the milk away for free.
No. She makes Brock pay for it. We're making the fucking marks pay for
God
it.
damn it!
You don't get that shit for free. So it cost you a lot of money to be married.
All right. And for those who would like to see you live, what are some upcoming shows?
Don't worry about that.
If somebody's wanting to listen to this and they're like, look, I'm going to get a gun and come find him at a show.
Yeah.
Put a stop to this whole mess. This whole mess right here.
Yeah, you just put me out of my misery. I will, July the 8th, for BCW, I will be in Hazard, Kentucky, where it all started. July the 11th, in Shopville, Kentucky, i.e. Somerset. July the 10th for NOW in Irvine, Kentucky. August 1st at the London Optimus Club. I will be there for Pro Wrestling Revolution. And I hear that there's two other podcast guys, Colt Cabana and Cliff Compton, are going to be there. And the Heartbreakers are probably going to have something to say about them trying to walk in on our turf.
That's good. We really don't need any podcasting infringement.
No, fuck that. I mean, you are my guys.
We're hanging on by teeth as it is. Like,
Yeah.
We got all we got is foul mouth fuckers on this thing every fucking week. It seems like.
I
don't know where this is going.
Is it cool to say goddamn on this?
Yeah.
Okay, because my mom won't let me say goddamn on Facebook anymore.
Oh, really?
I got nuclear heat.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mama Landers.
Huh?
Mama
Yes. Mama Landers was like, you can't say goddamn on Facebook. So the first thing I did is I was like, posted like shit, piss, fuck, pussy, motherfucker, cunt, ass, and tits because Mom said that was cool.
I remember that post.
Yeah, that's a shoot. That's a shoot.
I didn't know that was from
Everything else is a go, but fucking you can't say goddamn on Facebook.
She's like, God damn it, bro.
Yeah, she is. Speaking of goddamn and other foul words, the world's angriest UK fan. That is a great YouTube video that everyone can search.
Please watch.
And yes, if you're a fan of Kentucky basketball or if you're a fan of 70-year-old men weaving a tapestry of obscenities, give that a Google.
If you like funny shit, just watch that fucking video.
Yeah, and hopefully, like,
it's viral.
Yeah, sit through the ad because I do get a kickback on that.
All right. So I guess that wraps up this shooting the shit, I think.
I feel like it, yeah.
So second one.
Take it home, boys.
Maybe worse than the first. I don't know. We'll see.
I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for all you've done to your bodies.
It's still real to me, damn it!
This is the first edition of It's Still Real to Me, damn it. So I guess I'll explain what it is. This is a point of the show where a wrestler in full character cuts a promo. However, tonight, as a very special first one, the Loverboy, Brock Landers, is going to cut a promo on our very own Hoagie Masters as he answers Hoagie's Meat Challenge. Give it to him, Brock.
Well. Hoagie Masters, the self-proclaimed meat gobbling king of Wayne County. Let me tell you something, Hoagie. If there's one thing I know, it's swallowing loads of fucking meat. I'm talking red meat, pork, the next white meat, all of it, brother. Let me tell you, you can bring that brisket and I will smoke that sausage all night long. I've been to Wayne County, Hoagie. I've seen men sweat and bleed over a grill, and they'll pull that tube steak out, and I will slobber all over that. We can go next door to Subway. I ain't want no shit-ass 6-incher. I'm gonna tell them, you give Big Daddy Brock the foot-long $5 meal deal, and I'll swallow it whole, brother. No man, no woman, no child ever challenges Brock Landers to gobbling meat, my friend. I've had more meat slammed down this throat than every female in the Masters family lineage. So, Saturday, July the 11th, you bring your narrow ass to Shopville, Kentucky, because I'm going to Fat Man's Paradise Barbecue. I'm going to the back, and I'm going to tell the head cook, brother, you give me the sweetest, spiciest sausage link you've got. And I'm going to show Hoagie Masters how a real man handles his meat.
Another cover here.
And there's the roll-up.
Well, there's no possible way on earth we're following any of that just occurred. So we're calling it for this show. 4th episode of Independent Talent. Good stuff. Matt Pierce, Hoagie Masters, Corey Statik, Loverboy Brock Landers.
Godspeed.
Yeah, good show. For upcoming events we might be at, so you can score a t-shirt, stickers, whatever, hit up our Facebook page. We have a pinned post at the top. Also, well, I'm assuming you already listened to this show, so whatever. But hey, if you want to send us some hate mail or some good mail, you can listen to Cheyenne and she'll tell you where to reach us.
This might be the end of the episode, but the beat goes on for Independent Talent Online. Check out news, upcoming events, and massive photo galleries by liking the Independent Talent Podcast Facebook page. Also, feel free to hit us up with your opinions, suggestions, bitching, and moaning by sending emails to independenttalentpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, and for the love of wrestling, please support your local indie federations. Now get moving! We've got to get these chairs stacked and the trailer loaded.